Hey, what's up guys? This is Double here and I am going to be casting a 1 versus 1. It is going to be between Duckload.Whita-Ra, also known as Duckload.Ra, but I will be calling him WhiteRa because that is his name. It just says Duckload.Ra here because Duckload.Whita-Ra wouldn't fit. He is going to be the red Protoss in the top right spawn location, and his opponent is going to be Team Millennium's Stephano, the pink Zerg player playing from France. So this is going to be on the European server. WhiteRa is from Ukraine, but I think this is from the StarCraft Invitational hosted by TotalBiscuit. Definitely go check that tournament out. This is going to be from the first round in the tournament, if I'm correct, because I remember seeing the brackets with these two players duking it out in the first round. So I believe this is going to be from that tournament. Really cool for TotalBiscuit hosting a invitational tournament with 8 of the best European players. So definitely go check that out. So we're going to have a Zerg versus Protoss, and the map for this game is going to be Shakuras Plateau. And it's going to be the newer version where you don't have the ramp back in your base, and the ramp is instead going to be here to give you access to this middle expansion, which I don't think anyone will take in this game. If it would have been a Terran playing, they could definitely take this as an offensive base with the planetary fortress and turrets and siege tank and all that good stuff. But with a Zerg versus Protoss, you really don't have that. Really don't have anything that is like a planetary fortress. So no one is probably going to take this middle expansion if this don't go to the super uber late game. You can see that Duckload.Whita-Ra is gearing up for a fast expand. He's going to go for Forge first, and I think he has a little opening here to put a Zealot or but it's more common to do, if you go for a fast expand build, to go for a complete wall in, but I've seen it work with not a complete wall in as well. It depends on how early your opponent gets a spawning pool, and unlucky for Duckload.Whita-Ra, Stephano got his spawning pool first and is not going to get his hatchery, but it's not getting any Zerglings, only a queen. So no early aggression there, and Duckload.Whita-Ra knows that, but he's just going to throw down a precautionary photon cannon, which I'm concerned to why. He should really... I would have put down that gateway right away when I saw no Zerglings were about to hatch. But now he's going to put out a gateway, so just that much later. The gateway could have been over halfway finished by now, but he opted to go for that cannon first, so let's see if that plays a huge role in this game or not. Duckload now going to grab his first assimilator, and his Nexus is about to come up, so we will have that economic edge over his Zerg opponent. Well, it's not going to have a huge economic edge because their expansions will be up roughly at the same time, but the Zerg always want to be base ahead of their opponents, so being on equal bases this early in the game will allow for Duckload.Whita-Ra to just not fall too much behind. Now it's going to build up his cybernetic score, and there is the gap, so I believe this is tight over here and also over here. But I wonder if that isn't too big of a gap for a Zealot to block. Let's see about that. Now we have this initial scouting probe for Duckload.Whita-Ra, which is going to be picked off in any second here. Just don't dare was picked off by that only Zergling. And Stephano is immediately saturating up his base. He has that second queen for a double inject larva, and having 2 bases early as a Zerg is really important because you need all that larva to produce every single unit that you get, and the hatcheries to produce the queens. So just really important to have that. Now you can see that Stephano's first overlord is slowly but most surely going to come over and give vision of WhiteRa's expansions and all that good stuff. Now you can see that Duckload.Whita-Ra is following up with a double Stargate. I've seen OGSMC do this a number of times, and now Duckload.Whita-Ra has decided to go for that build as well. The thing is, with this build, you really have to do a lot of damage with those Phoenix or Void Rays he will be building. I assume he's going to go for a couple of Void Rays and then switch it back to Phoenixes. Let's see what he opts for. He currently doesn't have the money, but he's going to go for a Void Ray, and he's also going to go for that air weapons level 1. I've seen this build from Duckload.Whita-Ra before. It was a game on Tolerant Altar or something like that, and he lost pretty hard because he didn't do enough damage with those air units, and he didn't have ground army to defend. So if Stephano knows this build and scouts properly, he can counter this with a Hydra drop or mass Hydras and Roach Bust on the front door, and he's going for the Roach Warren and the Lair and also the Evolution Chamber, so he could go for just that, and he's now aware of this and is going to put down a Spore Crawler at his both his bases. Also going to grab his 4th extractor and also setting up his 3rd base. So just staying on top of his game. Meanwhile, Duckload.Whita-Ra is going to have that Void Ray spawning. I believe he has 2 right now. Yes, he has. And he has 46 probes, so probing up like crazy. Now he has his 2 Void Rays just waiting here for their 2 Void Ray buddies. And I believe that as soon as this attack finishes, they will move out and they will strike hard. And what does the Zerg has to deal with this? He's going to put down that Hydrogen, just as I thought he might was able to do, and he's also going to go for that roach speed and the missiles attack level 1. But whoa, look at this, we have a fleet beacon from Duckload.Whita-Ra, not in the best spot. This is really exposed from an Overlord just flying in here and spawning it, but this Overlord would have spotted it if he placed it there. But this would be the ideal place to place a building like that if you don't want it to get spotted. Now see, Duckload.Whita-Ra is going to kill that scouting Zergling, which will allow this probe to get through and grab this 3rd next, I would believe. Look at how many minerals he has banked up. I would believe he'll go for like double carrier or something. Never will you see a Protoss player go for carriers in these days, but now he's over here doing massive amounts of damage with his 4 Voiders. They are all fully charged and the Roaches can't do anything. He only has the Queens to save him, but now 6 Hydras is on the way with Race Upgrade, which will just strike fear into those Void Ray pilots. Now Stephano has to save all his drones and allow for those Hydras to reinforce, and when those Hydras and the Queens come, this will be lights out for all those Voiders. I don't think Duckload.Whita-Ra will be able to save any one of those, and seeing that it has gone for carriers out of double Stargate, Duckload.Whita-Ra can't be happy as of now and thinking, why didn't I go for Colossus? And he's also going to go for that carrier upgrade with the Graviton Catapult, and that will allow for those interceptors to launch just that much faster. And he hasn't even gone for Warpgate Tech yet, so he's just going to go for mass air because he has those upgrades on the way. But Stephano is doing a great job, and he's foreseen that with great scouting, and he is going to go for a lot of Hydras. Now he has his Roaches just blasting away at this 3rd for Duckload.Whita-Ra, so he will have no option to cancel that whatsoever. But he's intercepting a bunch of Hydras as well, and now he has his carrier reinforcement. I'm going to pick off a bunch of Roaches, no, a couple of Roaches rather, and he has a mothership on the way. So just a crazy game from Duckload.Whita-Ra. I always enjoy watching him play because he has those crazy builds work out, always trying new crazy stuff. It won't always work out in the end, but he's always entertaining to watch. He just goes for that wonky builds, just like TLO. They can go for any builds and make it work, but still, I don't see how this will work against Mass Hydra, and now even the Spire going up for Stephano, which will allow for Corruptors. And well, Corruptors is so good against carriers because the carriers are so slow, and yeah, I don't see how this can work out for Duckload.Whita-Ra, but maybe he has some plan worked out that I don't understand. So let's see how this game turns out after all. He has that mothership on the way, you gotta remember that, and he also has the Flyers attack level 2 on the way, which will explain why he hasn't gone for his Warp Gate upgrade yet, because he only has 1 gateway, and he has to use that Cybernetics core for those air upgrades. Now constantly chrono boosting out more and more carriers, and when those carriers hit a that crucial number of like 10 or so, they will be unable to get stopped by any Zerg forces, and especially with that mothership. But the mothership has been spotted by the Zerglings, I believe, so he will indeed get some have to get some overseer soon if he wants to deal with this Protoss army. Although all the Protoss units are so slow, with the WhiteRa being the fastest unit in the army, and the Voiders are not fast at all, so sniping that mothership and won't be too hard for Stephano, and then sniping all those carriers won't be too hard either. So, but now we can see that Duckload is building 3 carriers at a time, and he's also adding a 4th Stargate, so just a pure wonky build. But oh no, the Corruptors come here to intercept that mothership, and it's going down so fast that the Voiders cannot reinforce that, and it was just blasted away by all those carriers. Talk about an unlucky move for Duckload.Whita-Ra. Now we'll have to retreat back, because without that mothership support, he won't have anything on all those Corruptors and HYDRAs, and he knows that, so he's going to back off. Now producing another mothership, and it costs so much money. It costs 400 gas, 400 minerals, and take up 8 supply, and all those carriers take up 6 supply, so we'll be maxed out pretty soon. Now it's going to go for a couple of more Void Rays, and also 3 carriers at a time, and it's going to go for Protoss air weapons level 3. Now the Corruptors come from the back, and the HYDRAs coming from the front, so they will intercept any air units spawning out of here. So they're just going to wait by the Stargate to snipe the carrier as it spawns, but now they're going to move out because they know they've been spotted and probably going to be intercepted by a massive Protoss army anytime soon. But here is the Protoss army. Take a look at the unit tab. We can see that 26 Corruptors and 8 HYDRAs for Stephano is going to go for 7 carriers and 4 Void Rays, and soon to be a mothership as well. And those 8 carriers will allow for 64 interceptors, although he hasn't put them on auto build on all of them, just now building them up, because each carrier can have 5 interceptors. No, 8 interceptors, I'm wrong. But we have a Nidus worm going up. I haven't seen a Nidus network being produced, but now a Nidus worm coming here, and Duckload will have to move his really slow Protoss army over here. Now the Corruptors will all be intercepting those units, but wow, that is so many carriers. Soon to have +3 weapons, and look how fast those Corruptors is going to town. Oh wow, I was shouting, I don't know why. But no, the carrier is using that corruption ability, and Duckload.Whita-Ra's unit is exposed. And who's going to win this? I can't tell. You gotta remember that Duckload.Whita-Ra has that upgrade advantage on his opponent, and now the mothership will arrive, but this phase has just been completely destroyed by the Zerg ground units. But now Duckload.Whita-Ra will just annihilate all those with his cloaked units that will rebuild that Nexus anytime soon. So yeah, just working on that shield upgrade as well for his air units, and also will allow for everything that he builds to have better shields. So I'm confused to why Protoss players don't go for that shield upgrade anymore as often as the other upgrades. Okay, it's more so much more expensive, but it allows your buildings and your probes and your air units and your ground units to have better shields, and that will just help you a lot in the long run. Because you gotta remember, the armor upgrade only protects you, that doesn't help when you're taking damage at your shields. It only take damage at your HP will help you. But now you can see that Zerg player Stephano is going to grab his 6th and 5th base. I said that in the incorrect order, but I'm a total baller, so I can do that. Now he's going to go for double Spire with double upgrades on his air units. So this just shows you how a wonky game this is. And now we're also going to go for that hive tech and produce a lot more Corruptors. And look at this Corruptor ball. How many are that? That is 24 Corruptors in total. That is a lot. And he's going to go for hive tech. I would assume he's going to go for Broodlords, but I don't see the point of that. Yes, he could tear down the Protoss buildings very fast, but the Protoss only has air units, so Broodlords can attack air. And now these Corruptors will be killed off by those air units, or at least scared away. and just did some dancing back and forth. I don't know how many units that are. Let's take a look at units tab before. WhiteRa has 5 carriers and 10 void rays. And also in mothership, it has 82 probes on 4 base, so we just be able to fund those armies like a boss. And he's mined out in his main already, although we are 21 minutes into the game. But it has 4 stargates producing non-stop units, so but not too much happening right now. And Stephano has wisely mixed in a overseer in his army to detect those cloaked units of Duckload.Whita-Ra, so that will just annihilate the ability of the mothership. But the mothership can actually use the vortex as well as the mass recall, although the mothership will have nothing to recall. But the vortex will be useful against those corruptors. See if we can vortex like half of them. He will just blast away at all those other corruptors, and the corruptors will be forced to enter that vortex, and that will leave Duckload.Whita-Ra time to regenerate his shields, which he has now upgraded. So just a crazy build from Duckload.Whita-Ra yet again. I've said that a lot of times, but I just want to see this work so badly. Now he's even to mix in some Phoenix, and now he's grabbing his 5th base and reinforcing that with a lot of cannons, all powered by 1 pylon. So if this pylon goes out, all those cannons will be worthless. A pylon as this is usually referred to as an Artosis pylon, and if you don't know why it's called that, then just research it. I believe Artosis, a very famous caster and also great Masters player. Don't know if he's Grandmasters or not, but he put a pylon with power like all his unit producing structures, and then he lost the game because that was power, pylon was taken out or something like that. Now the Zerg player, no, the Protoss player is maxed out, and the Zerg is nearing maxed out as well, so this will allow... Now this indicates that we will have a huge clash of those 2 armies in the middle of the map somewhere, and the Zerg player Stephano has that ring. All those spine crawlers, those spore crawlers helping out. 10 spore crawlers in the middle of the map is just going to not let this Protoss player push into this. All that he will be annihilated by all those spore crawlers. And now we have creep pushing into his base, so now he won't be able to hold on to his own bases because he cannot. It's too dangerous to push into all those spore crawlers. Just leaping from, and that recent buff for the spore crawlers just allowed them to burrow so quickly, so he can't snipe them while they're trying to burrow. But look at this army for Duckload.Whita-Ra. Let's take a look at the unit tab. Oh, I had that open. He has 1 Phoenix, 15 Voiders, and 10 carriers. That is just so many air units, but his opponent, Stephano, has 48 Corruptors. Never in a game will you see that many Corruptors. Never. Now they have the Protoss air armor level 3 on the way. I think I've never seen a game where this many armors and attack upgrades for a for the air army has been upgraded. Also working on that +2 shields, and now he's going to wreak havoc on Stephano's bases. But here comes the Corruptors. All the Protoss units are exposed. This mothership is going to get down so quickly, and now all those Protoss units are exposed. But he can't fly into those many Inceptors, and the Festus will force the Zerg player Stephano to focus down the carriers if he's going to have any chance at all. And that is so many Corruptors remaining. Look at that, but they're going to blast away so quickly. But the difference is that our Zerg player can reinforce this so much quicker than our Protoss player will ever be able to, because he can only produce 4 enemy units at a time. We can see that 16 Corruptors is being produced at a time for a Zerg player, and he also has that flyer lever carrier +3 on the way. I've never seen that upgrade ever before. That is just a cool picture. But 28 Corruptors and 3 Infestors on the way for a Zerg player. When those spawn, he can just annihilate 32 Corruptors at once. So the Protoss player will have to do as much damage as he can before the Corruptors spawn. But he's going to pick up some stray Corruptors here, and also going to pick up some Infestors. But no, they decided to borrow. No, I think they were picked off, but 2 Corruptors here, going to pick off a carrier here for Duckload.Whita-Ra. No, not really. But here comes the Zerg swarm yet again, and Duckload.Whita-Ra hasn't even reproduced a 5th of his army, so those Voiders are just going to cry and die. And now our turn play, no, our Protoss player doesn't have anything, and this is when he should have transitioned during that huge battle. He should have foreseen that he couldn't reproduce as fast as the Zerg player. He should have thrown down like 12 gateways or so, because he can't fund that with all those income minerals and gas, and then he should just have a huge stalker army to annihilate all those corruptors. But now he doesn't have anything to deal with them. He only has one gateway and no, well, he has that warp technology actually on the way, and he has realized that he has to throw down a bunch of gateways, but I don't think he will survive this attack. This will most likely be the final blow from Stephano. All those Void Rays will be killed off, and he has nothing to deal with those ground units. Those corruptors cannot shoot ground, but they can upgrade into Broodlords because that Greater Spire has finished upgrading. So, but Zerg don't have the money to upgrade them into Broodlords, and a mothership spawning from the wrong nexus and getting picked up immediately. Duckload cannot be happy about that, but now he has 6 gateways on the way at his expansion, and also rebuilding that cybernetics core. But our Zerg player has made a transition much earlier. He's going to go for those Broodlords. He has the Adrenal Grants and the +2 attack, no, the +1 attack on his way for his Zerglings, so he's going to go for a massive Zergling Infestor Broodlord army, which will annihilate any gateway force from Duckload. He realized that, and he's going to go for, I'm trying to search for the building, he's going to build a Templar Archives. But I don't think that the High Templars with the Sidestone will be up in time for this to get kicked off, because he can just sit back here with his Broodlords and take out the Protoss player from a safe distance. Those Broodlings don't cost anything, so you can just send him in at those cannons and just destroy the Duckload so slowly, and he has those units guarding his Broodlords, so this is just a really good example of how to use your Broodlords and how to transition. And this is just shows you how to not transition. Duckload just showed us that, and how to not play Protoss in the late game if you went for that build, because he did it really great in the beginning. You gotta hand it to him for making that work and taking out that Zerg army over here. But when he took that out, he should have just put down like 10 gateways or so. He put down 6 after that, but that was too late. But he should have put down like 10 gateways or so, and then try to do as much damage as he could with his fleet, his air fleet, and then he would just be ready. He would be ready to with his transition. But now he has transition late. The Broodlords are already on the field. The Zergling will start swarming in at any minute. Look at this creep highway just through the base up to Duckload's 3rd, and he also is mined out in almost every location he has, so no minerals whatsoever. I don't think he has many probes. He only has 50 probes, and he's yet again go for a mothership. I think that is his 4th or 5th mothership. If that would have been an achievement, Duckload would have gotten that a long time ago. No, Duckload would have been the only one to get that, I believe. Never will you see like 5 motherships get produced a single game. Now he also has the Archons on the way, because he cannot afford to get that Sidestorm, although it would have been a smart choice to get out High Templars and just storm the shit out of the Zerg swarm, because he has so many access gas and barely no minerals to spend whatsoever. And now we can see that the Zerg is gearing up for a massive roach bust, because he has the burrow on the way, he has the tunneling claws on the way, so this will just wreak havoc on the Protoss army. He has got every single unit except for the Ultralisk, and I think this is, my ladies and gentlemen, will be the final blow to Duckload. I don't see how he can hold this big army up. Zerg is maxed out. Duckload is barely over 100 supply. All he has is Archons and Void Rays, and all those will be taken out so fast by the Zerglings and the Corruptors. But now Duckload is most likely going to GG at any second, even laying down some fungal growth. So great play by Stephano, making the transition much better than Duckload, and there goes the GG. So you gotta hand it to Stephano. Real epic and nice CVP or PvC, and yeah, great game by Stephano. This is Double X signing out. Hope you enjoyed the game. See you later.